Hello my friends. It is Jessica from I Read to Relax, and I am here today, almost on the last day of October, with my November TBR video. It's pouring rain outside, so you're getting my indoor view. No natural light here, sorry. But this is the only time I have to film this before it is actually November, and I wanted to get it picked and ready to go, so we are doing it tonight. I have really enjoyed the last couple of months doing my Read It or Unhaul It list, working off of my holiday reads list, checking books off of my ebook TBR, like top list. So I'm doing all of those things again this month. I think that's been working pretty well, giving me sort of like hitting those older books that I just have sort of not been getting to. So we are gonna do that, as I said, again. I already have my audiobooks picked out for this month. I'm going to spin a couple of random name generator wheels to pick books off of specific lists. And then towards the end of the video, we will pick a couple of prompts and pick books off of my physical TBR that match. And then we should have a TBR list for November. So I know a lot of people either go with a small TBR list or a larger TBR list, and there's two different reasonings. Some people like to be able to finish their TBR, so they pick a smaller amount of books that they know they'll be able to check off. I sort of go the opposite, and I like to sort of have like a healthy pool of books to be able to choose from during the month. So I've been picking, I think, around between 10 and 12 books, knowing that I'm probably going to finish 8 or 9 of them. And so like there's a couple that just don't get read every month, and I'm okay with that. So hopefully you guys are too. That's kind of how my brain works. I like to have a sort of smaller list of things to choose from through the month, but still enough variety and like options to choose from, so I'm not feeling like I'm just ticking those certain items off my list during the month. So anyway, let's get into what I hope to read in November. So first of all, I mentioned I have already picked out the 2 audiobooks that I want to read in November. I took a break from Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere for the month of October, and I listened to Servant of Earth, Princess of Blood, a T. Kingfisher little mini horror novel, and something else that I can't remember right now, but it was great to get sort of like that break. But now I definitely want to jump back into the Cosmere. There's so many books that he's got out, but I'm gonna do 2 that are sort of related but not officially part of like the Stormlight Archive. So the first one I'm gonna listen to is Tress of the Emerald Sea. This one is, I don't really know much about. I just know that a lot of people have loved it. It's its own standalone. It's a little cozy and sort of like fairy tale-ish, and I'd love to see Brandon Sanderson sort of tackle that type of book. And then the other one I'm going to listen to is The Sunlit Man. Both of these were his, like, part of his pandemic secret projects. So in that 2020, 2021, 2022 era. And they're all sort of standalones, but in the interconnected Cosmere. And my husband's read both of these, and he says I'm gonna really like them both, so I'm excited for both of those. So those are my audiobook choices for the month of November. There is one book that is a new release that I'm really, really excited for, so I will be reading that when it comes out. And that one is called Live and Let Ride. And this is the 3rd book in Lucia Ashta's, it's the Ridgemore series. These are shorter novels. It is a sort of like gritty high school, so like YA, urban fantasy. And it's about these kids that have sort of like superhuman powers. Think sort of like Stranger Things, but like high school, college, almost college age kids. And I love this series. I love it so much. And I believe this is the third and final book. So I am definitely getting to that as soon as it's out. I'm super excited. Let's do our first ebook wheel spin. So I used a random name generator wheel, and I put in my current read it or unhaul it list. So I'm gonna put that up on the screen here, and we're gonna do a random spin. And the winner is It Happened One Summer. So we are going to be reading or unhauling It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. It doesn't feel like a very November book, but that's okay. This is one that I really, really wanted to read when it first came out. It's based on kind of like Schitt's Creek, the TV show, which is hilarious and amazing. And I just have never really sat down and picked it up because I'm not a huge contemporary romance reader. But it is definitely time. We either need to read this one or just donate it and know we're never going to get to it. So the next random wheel generator we're going to be doing is I have a short list of like the top ebooks on my ebook TBR that I would really like to get to, and I've been picking 2 of these a month. I think I've been doing at least one, if not both, since like September, and it's been working out nicely because I sometimes forget that I have Kindle books. And there's times when it's just so much easier to pick up an ebook than my actual physical book. So it's nice to have those ebooks like set and ready to go. So let's spin the wheel for the first one for November. And it came up with The Holiday Cottage. So The Holiday Cottage is one of Sarah Morgan's Christmas books, and I love Sarah Morgan's Christmas novels. I've read one every year for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. And they are one of like 2 books that I read every single December. But I went at one point through her like backlist and bought like all of them. And so now I have some unread ones that I just need to get to. So The Holiday Cottage is one of them, which makes me really excited because I've been trying to read at least one of my holiday books a month. So this will be one for November, which is fabulous. And we're going to spin this wheel again. So we're going to pick another one of my ebooks. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh, and it's a totally different, okay. So this one is The Gully Washer. This one is one of the books in the Trailer Park Fairy Queen series. So this is another like urban fantasy book series. The girl who's the main character is in a trailer park, and she's in that lower socioeconomic status, but she's a freaking great character. And let's just say that there's a lot of fae in this series, hence the title, the series name. So a lot of like paranormal stuff goes on, but these are really, really funny. And I've read the first, I want to say 3 or 4 books. I can't remember if this is book 5. So I'm excited to keep going with this series. I listened to the first couple as audiobooks and they were amazing. And then I picked up the next couple as ebooks and sort of like forgot that I had them. So I'm excited to get back into this series too. Yay! Okay. So, as I mentioned, I've been trying to read at least one of my holiday books every month since September, trying to lead up to December and clear some of those books off my never-ending holiday TBR. So I had decided in November and December that I would pick 2 books from that holiday ebook, or holiday book, because I have ebooks, audiobooks, physical books, all of them, from the holiday list. And we just picked one actually off of our ebook TBR, so I'm gonna count that both as the ebook list and the first book off the holiday list, because I don't want to read 3 in November, let's just be honest. But let's pick the second holiday book that we're gonna do off of my holiday specific TBR list. So here we go for that one. And we got A Holiday by Gaslight. Okay, so A Holiday by Gaslight is a historical holiday romance. So I'm excited for that because that's something a little bit different. So I'm gonna have my Sarah Morgan like contemporary one, and then I'll have this one. And let's be honest, I'm planning to put my Christmas tree up pretty soon because every year I feel like I start decorating for the holidays sooner. Get in that sort of spirit. So it'll be nice to have 2 holiday books in November. So then there's one more book that I wanted to add to my TBR for sure. And that one is Nightshade by Autumn Woods. This was on my October TBR and I just didn't have time to get to it, but I am super excited for this book. I've really been loving that sort of like gothic fantasy in the last couple of months, and I know that this is that same type of book, so I really want to read this one. So again, this is a girl who ends up going to a very prestigious university in the Scottish Highlands, which I love. And then there's sort of like she's investigating a mysterious death, and there's a rival that she ends up perhaps getting to know. So yes, I am excited for this one. The tagline says, "Mystery, Murder, Revenge. Welcome to Sorrow Song University." Definitely adding that to my November TBR. So that gives us technically 8 books on the TBR already, although 2 of them are audiobooks. So it's really like 6 books. So again, what I think I'm going to do is pick 4 prompts out of the jar, and we will match books to those prompts, which will give us 10 regular books, 2 audiobooks, because I don't really count that reading time. It's usually in the car and whatever. And we will see what our long list looks like. So let's pick our first prompt. We're gonna grab this one right here. Okay, and let's see what that says. It says book by a favorite author. Okay, I'm gonna pick some choices and be right back. Okay, so I came up with 2 choices. Like, I went and looked at my bookshelves, but these are 2 authors that I know that I absolutely love. 2 books that I really could get wholly behind for November. So the first one is Where the Drowned Girls Go by Shannon Maguire. I love this series, The Wayward Children. They are novellas, so they are nice and short, but they are about a school where kids who have gone through portals to other worlds, like Alice dropping into Wonderland, when they come back and they can't integrate back into society because, you know, they've had this experience and nobody believes them, they end up together at this school, and it's all other kids who have had a similar experience. But then each novella is sort of either that kid's story, longing to get back to the world that they had fallen through to, because that was the place that like their soul really connects, you know? Every world is different. Every kid is different. Like, the stories are just poignant and like achingly beautiful in different ways. So this is the next book in the series for me, and I can't remember what number this is, maybe 8. But it is Where the Drowned Girls Go. And then the other one was on a previous TBR and I just didn't get to it. But this is the last book in the Green Creek series by TJ Klune. So this is Brother Song. And it is, like I said, the final book in the series. And these are heart-wrenching, amazing male-male romances. Paranormal, it's werewolves, and I absolutely adore this series as well. So like now I'm really torn because A, this one's really short, and B, it's a series I really, really love. And then this one is also a series that I really, really love, and it's the last book in the series. So, I think I'm going to go with Brother Song because I really, really, really want to finish this series, and they're so good. So I think I'm going to go ahead and stick this one back on my TBR. Okay, let's pick next prompt out of the jar. So, I had one and I lost it. I don't know if this is the same one, probably not. All right, let's see what we've got here. It says double letter in the title. So that means something that has like 2 L's, 2 T's, 2 N's, something in one of the words in the title. So this will take a little scouring in my bookshelves. I will be back with some choices. Okay, I'm glad you guys didn't have to watch me scour through my bookshelves because that was more, I don't want to say difficult than I thought. It just took me a little bit of time to look for things that had a double letter in the title. But I did come up with some choices. So the first one is another book that's been on a TBR before. I really, really want to read this one. It's A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandana. This is the author of The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, which I loved. So this one is probably going to be the one I choose, but let me show you the other choices. We also have Falling Like Leaves by Misty Wilson, and this one is like a YA romance with very like Gilmore Girls vibes, like small town New England. And it sounds really cute too, but I really want to read the other one more. And then the last one is another one that's been on a TBR already this year, and I just didn't get to it, and it's Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young. And this one sounds really great too, but of these 3, I definitely want to read this one the most. So I'm going to put A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping back on my TBR, and hopefully we can get to it in November because I'm really excited for this one. It's a whimsical and heartwarming novel about a witch who has a second chance to get her magical powers and her life back on track. So it sounds similar in the description to Rewitched, which I just read. And Rewitched was okay, but it wasn't great. It wasn't what I was hoping for, so I'm hoping this one will be that book. So, all right. We've got 2 more prompts to go, so let's pick our next one. I can't get my fingers in deep enough, so we gotta pop them out. Okay, let's see what we got for this one. It is A Place in the Title. Okay. Let me go look at my shelf. So I found 2 books on my shelves that have actual real place names in them. I was surprised. I forgot I had these, which is why this prompt is great. So the first one is The Lights of Prague by Nicole Jarvis. And this one is a refreshing historical fantasy about class and the hunger for power. So in the quiet streets of Prague, all manner of mysterious creatures lurk in the shadows. Unbeknownst to its citizens, their only hope against the tide of predators are the dauntless lamplighter's, secret elite monster hunters whose light staves off the darkness each night. I am obsessed with Prague and would love to see it someday. I really love the city, the descriptions, what I've seen online. So, and this one sounds cool. And then the other one I picked up when I was actually in Savannah. This one is The Kingdoms of Savannah by George Dawes Green, and this is a famous, charming Southern thriller. It says, moving from the homeless encampments that ring the city to the stately homes of Savannah's elite, Green's novel brilliantly depicts the underbelly of a city with a dark history and the strangely mesmerizing dysfunction of a complex family. Savannah may appear to be some town out of a fable with its vine flowers, turreted mansions, and ghost tours that romanticize the city's history. But look deeper and you'll uncover secrets, past and present, that tell a more sinister tale. It's the story at the heart of this chilling novel, The Kingdoms of Savannah. So, we've got a southern thriller, or we've got a sort of monster hunting in Prague. I think I'm gonna go with The Lights of Prague. I picked this one up randomly browsing in the bookstore, and it's been sitting in my shelves for at least 6 months, and I think it's time to really dive into this one. I'm excited. I am excited. So yes, let's read Prague. Ooh, okay. All right. So we have one prompt left for the month of November. Let's see what we get. A book you've been avoiding. Okay. Let me go look at my shelves and see what I've been avoiding. I'll bring back some choices in a minute. If I'm going to be totally honest, some of the books that I've been avoiding are the books that have ended up on my, like I said, top ebook list, the Read It or Unhaul It list. So I feel good that I've already hit some of those. I've been slowly picking away at them, and I'm going to keep those going for as long as I feel like I need to. But I did find 3 physical books that I've also been sort of avoiding for one reason or another, so we will go over those. The first one is The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. Every time I look at these physically, like, they're so chunky, it just sort of like, I immediately am like, oh God, I don't want to pick those up. But now that I've read like the Stormlight Archive books, I know this is the first book in the Mistborn trilogy, the first Mistborn era. And I am really excited to read these. I'm probably going to do it as an audiobook, and I'm not going to do it in November because I'm going to be doing the 2 Cosmere audiobooks already. So this is one I've been avoiding. I didn't want to not be honest about it, but I'm not going to pick this one for this month. So then I also have the book 3 Kings by Nikki Jefford. This is the 3rd book in the Royal Conquest series. And I really, really liked the first 2 books in this series, and then I just sort of got sidetracked by a million other series and never came back to these. So I'm really excited for this one because the main character in this one was a side character in the other ones, and I really, really liked her. And I just, for whatever reason, keep shying away from picking up this one. I think because it's been a long time, but this may be exactly the impetus I need to finally read this one. And then the other one that I found is book 2 in the Queens of Renthia series. So this is The Reluctant Queen by Sarah Beth Durst. The first book, Queen of Blood, was stellar in this series, absolutely stellar, and it was almost so good that I'm a little scared to dive into book 2 because like my inner hype is so high. But I've had books 2 and book 3 physically on my shelves for a couple of years now, so it's again another book that I really need to just like suck it up and jump into. So I'm really torn between these two. I think for the month of November, I may go with The Three Kings just because I have this one, and then there's a holiday novella that I also have, and if I read this one in November, I could read the holiday novella in December, and then I would be done with all of the physical books that I own in this series, which would feel like a good accomplishment. So yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put The Three Kings on my November TBR, but I am going to remind myself that I think I'm going to have to add this book to, like, if I do a however many books I want to read in 2026 list, I think this is going to have to go on it because I really do want to dive back into this series. The first one was so good. I officially picked my November TBR. So I will do a quick recap. We have 2 audiobooks. We have Tress of the Emerald Sea and The Sunlit Man, both by Brandon Sanderson. I am going to be reading Live and Let Ride, which is book 3 in the Ridgemore series by Lucia Ashta. I don't have that one yet because it's coming out in November, so I'm excited for that. Then I'm going to be reading It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey, which is my Read It or Unhaul It book for this month. We're going to be reading The Holiday Cottage by Sarah Morgan, which is on my ebook TBR. We're also going to be reading Gully Washer, which is on my ebook TBR. We're going to be reading A Holiday by Gaslight from my holiday TBR, which also happens to be an ebook. And then we're going to be reading Nightshade by Autumn Woods and Brother Song by TJ Klune, and A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandana, as well as The Lights of Prague by Nicole Jarvis, and lastly, The Three Kings by Nikki Jefford. So, again, it's a ambitious TBR, but I like having sort of a big pile of books to choose from and just trying to read as many of them as humanly possible. I don't know if any of these are going to be on your fall, holiday, whatever TBR, or if you've read them already. If you have read them already, them or hated them, whatever the case may be, you can share that in the comments, as long as you keep it mostly spoiler free because I don't want you to spoil my reading of them. And then, yeah, tell me something you're super excited to read in November. Whatever it may be, I hope it's amazing.